The main types of fishing are trawling, longline, drift netting, and purse seine. Trawling is dragging a net across the ocean floor. It is bad because the bottom is destroyed. Longline is used to target fish like tuna with several hundred hooks. It accidentally catches turtles and seabirds. Drift netting is large drifting nets set that can be several miles long. Fish can become entangled, turtles and seabirds can get snagged. Purse seine is a large net used to scoop up large schools of fish as they feed near the surface. Spotter planes are used to find schools, and dolphins swim above the schools of tuna and are trapped by the net. Commercial fishing can accidentally kill turtles and dolphins and other marine animals. It also destroys habitats. Aquaculture is better. It increases fish harvests, raises fish in the water. It has less negative effects to the marine ecosystem. The maximum sustainable yield is the largest yield or catch that can be taken for the population to be sustained indefinitely. The current state of fisheries. There has been a decrease in fish populations, mostly codfish, flatfish, tuna, swordfish, sharks, and more. This is the result of overfishing and pollution. Tuna has decreased since the 1950s. It peaked in 1989 and has dropped since. This results in a price increase. According to CNN.com, there has been a huge decline in fish populations. Although pollution and climate change has an effect, overfishing has increased the problem most. In 2010, it was estimated that 90% of big fish were killed due to overfishing. Trawling is one type of fishing that is blamed for the most damage to ecosystem and marine life. Public lands. Yellowstone was the first national park. Yosemite was the first state park. Theodore Roosevelt established the first national wildlife refuge in Pelican Island, Florida in 1903 for breeding birds. Franklin Roosevelt established the Civilian Conservation Corps, or the CCC, for work during the Depression. Mining, drilling, and grazing have many effects. Mining and drilling can result in coal or oil for energy, while grazing also feeds animals. At the same time, these cause a lot of environmental damage. This can include erosion, acid mine drainage, which is pollution, and other environmental and ecosystem damage to the land or the animals. Locusts are insects that have negative effects on agriculture and human health. A recently released study shows that overgrazing may actually be the cause of locust swarms. This is because the locusts eat plants lower in nitrogen. When land is overgrazed, soil erodes and causes nitrogen depletion. Silviculture is forest management. Selective cutting is when you cut only certain trees, such as the dead or diseased ones. Clear cutting is when all the trees are cut. Controlled burning reduces fuel buildup, making large fires less likely, therefore reducing large-scale habitat destruction. Results from a new study show that wildfires in California forests and deforestation are contributing more than expected to carbon emissions. This could affect the state's ability to meet mandatory goals to reduce greenhouse gases by 2020.
This is the soil horizon. The O horizon is organic matter. The A horizon is topsoil, or the zone of leaching. The B horizon is the zone of accumulation. The C horizon is weathered parent material, and the R horizon is bedrock. So, is it humus or humus? Humus is the richest soil with organic matter. The parent material is original bedrock that weathers into soil. Weathering is the breakdown of rock versus erosion, which is the transportation of soil and rock to another location where it is then deposited. Currently in Henderson County, the amount of rain is causing an erosion concern along the French Broad River. Sediment is building over the sediment fence, and they're trying to manage it with sediment traps. This is a soil triangle, and it's a soil classification based on proportions of silt, sand, and clay. So you take your percent clay, your percent silt, and your percent sand and find where it meets in the middle. So the composition of soil, permeability is how fast water moves through the soil. Porosity is how much space is between grains of sediment. And the pH scale is how acidic or basic the substance is. Metals are more toxic at lower pH because they are soluble.
Alright, I'm done.
Recently, there has been a concern with curbing fertilizer runoff near Lake Erie. pH has risen in Midwestern soil and phosphorus is becoming more water soluble. We need to use less fertilizers. Contour plowing is plowing perpendicular to the slope to prevent soil erosion from washing down slope. Terracing is farming in mountainous areas with stone or trees, creating walls to prevent erosion. Windbreaks reduce erosion. They are the linear planting of trees and shrubs in rows. Monoculture is focusing on one crop. It reduces biodiversity and is more expensive, but it has higher yields and reduces erosion. Polyculture is planting many plants per one farm. It saves resources and has a better yield, but it's more of an investment and is compact in space. An Asian Development Bank earlier this month provided $42.9 million for upgrading irrigation to boost terrace farming in Asia. This is for tribal communities to increase productivity.
Integrated pest management. Broad-spectrum pesticides kill a large range of pesticides, while narrow-spectrum pesticides kill a specific kind of pest rather than everything. Rachel Carson wrote Silent Spring, and it brought the results of an indiscriminate use of DDT to the public's attention. DDT was a commonly used pesticide that started to bioaccumulate and biomagnify in the bodies of organisms. Biomagnification is the increasing concentration of a substance in the food chain, while bioaccumulation is the buildup in one specific organism. Crop rotation is deciding which crop to plant in a given area every year. This is important because certain crops use certain nutrients and returns others to soil. It won't wipe out the soil quality. Nitrogen fixation is a process in which nitrogen in the atmosphere is converted into ammonium. Only natural means to convert this essential element to a usable form. The nitrogen cycle is the series of processes by which nitrogen and its compounds are introconverted in the environment and in living organisms, including nitrogen fixation and decomposition. The phosphorus cycle is a no-gas state that starts in rocks, is carried into water, plants take up in phosphorus, animals eat, it makes proteins, and the cycle begins again. Legumes have the ability to use nitrogen from the air and convert it into a usable form. Cover crops are planted to manage soil erosion, soil quality, water, weeds, pests, etc. Plastic bags kill 100,000 marine animals and 1 million seabirds every year. Plastic absorbs toxins at high rates, which when ingested leads to bioaccumulation. In Washington, D.C., there's a 5-cent fee on single-use plastic bags. In San Jose, California, they prohibit plastic bags completely. Economics of farming. Cash crops are for profit, while subsistence farming is for families to grow their own food. Slash and burn is cutting down trees and burning them to return nutrients to the soil. The Green Revolution in the 70s versus today. In the 70s, the revolution was focused on producing more food, including the first GMOs. Today, a major contribution to the Green Revolution is GMOs that increase health and help people get the nutrients they need. Motorsport is reinventing itself as a champion of environmentally friendly technology. Motorsport will compete in its first 10-race Formula E season for electric cars in London in June. Motorsport is even supplying ecologically correct supercars for the next Bond film. GMOs and GMCs. The Bt gene is used as a biological pesticide. It can be inserted into crops to make them capable of producing an insecticidal toxin. Roundup Ready crops are plants that are resistant to Roundup, so farmers that plant seeds must use Roundup to keep weeds from growing in their fields. The first ones were developed in 1996. Vitamin A deficiency in golden rice. Many people in various countries around the world have vitamin A deficiency due to a lack in variety of their food. Scientists have created golden rice, which contains carotene, a source of vitamin A. A transgene is a gene or a genetic material that has been transferred naturally by any of a number of genetic engineering techniques from an organism to another. The introduction of a transgene has the potential to change the phenomenon of an organism. A view of GMCs in America versus Europe. Europe is less enthusiastic about GMCs than America due to the unknown health effects GMCs may have on the human health. Inventors of golden rice win the U.S. Humanitarian Award. They invented golden rice as a means to fight vitamin A deficiency that usually afflicts about 190 million people globally.